When man are telling you, man, stay in the house, just stay in the house, innit? Because you could get pneumonia and like one of your lungs could be trying to give up on you like it was for me.
With a life like this and a price this big, I could never be a plus for four. I can never, ever, ever, ever.
Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I haven't sat down and filmed a video in so long, so this is like really strange for me. Oh my god, my life has literally been like a mess for the whole of 2020. The end of 2019, the whole of 2020. I never once thought this was going to be my year, so at least I ain't got no disappointments, you know what I mean? Yeah, so I've had like a really eventful couple weeks, so I thought I might as well come on here and tell you guys about it. Tell you guys what I've been going through. The lighting's going to change and I don't really know what I can do about it. So the world is in crisis, so how is everyone? I hope you guys are all staying inside, because one of you little nasties gave me this condition and wiped me out for 2 weeks. So whoever you are, you better be staying your ass at home. I hope you're well and alive. So yeah, I was diagnosed with corona, COVID-19, Rona, COVID, whatever you want to call it. I had it. On the 6th of March, me and my mum and my sister went to London for the weekend, and it was literally a really amazing weekend. It was random, there was no point to it. We just all were sick of the scenery in Reading and wanted to get away for a few days. So we went to London. Before I was in London, I was in Leicester. I did like a 3-day postgraduate course thing. So yeah, I was like, about that week, I was basically on tour. I was literally in Leicester, Reading and London. So I don't know, it's not like I was at home, you know, doing my thing and then all of a sudden I was ill. But this was like before it was like this pandemic in England. It was like the rest of the world, we was like watching the rest of the world. Yeah, so we were at this hotel and I felt really fine. I felt really well, I was cool. And then I started getting like a weird taste in my mouth like on the Sunday, and I was just like, everything tastes like cheese, and I was brushing my teeth like 4 times a day and nothing was making a difference. So that was really strange. And then on the Sunday we went to Satay Bar, and for some reason my whole tongue went bright red, my eyes were watering, like I just couldn't really hack food very much. So I don't know if that had anything to do with the virus or if my mouth was just moving mad, but that was going on. And we spent time with my family, my cousins, and yeah, like it was just a really nice weekend. And then I got home on the Monday and I was fine. And then on the Tuesday, I was a bit tired, like little bit tired, like cool, I'm always tired. I've just had like a week holiday basically, so let me just get an early night or whatever. So Tuesday I went to work normal, whatever. On Wednesday I woke up, and that Wednesday, which would have been Friday's the 6th, Saturday's 7th, Sunday's the 8th, Monday's the 9th. Just check my phone, because clearly I can't do maths.
2 hours later.
Wow, I was way off. March, yeah, so on the 11th, I woke up at like, I want to say 5 o'clock in the morning with this excruciating headache. It was like really pounding to the point where I had like a little gap in my curtain and I had to shut it because it was hurting so much. And then I went back to sleep, and then my mum came in to wake me up. She came in to wake me up like, what are you doing at like 9 o'clock? And I was like, I can't do it today, like my head is pounding and I just don't feel very good. So she was like, oh my god, okay, cool, like take some pills and let me know how you feel. So I went back to sleep. Bear in mind I went to bed at a normal time. So then she messaged me and she's like, I'm going to the cafe in like an hour or so if you want to come. So I was like, okay, cool. So I'd popped pills like 20 minutes before and my headache was subsiding. So I got up and I went to I went outside and we went to the cafe, which is like 3 seconds from my house. And we were in there and the headache wasn't going. But it was like, it eased off so that I can have a conversation and move around and stuff. And then we were there for about an hour. And then I was like, cool, I feel alright. I think I could do some work. So we got back home and I was like, I'm going to do a couple hours of, I'm going to do the rest of the day's work from home. So then I got to the computer and I was literally powering through. And I'd done all this, started doing all this work or whatever. And then randomly, I've literally looked from left to right and the whole room started spinning. And I was like, shit. Like, this is mad. I feel awful. So I've got up and my mum was on the phone to my grandma. So I've got up and I've messaged her and I was like, I'll have to go back to bed. And literally the rest of that Wednesday I spent in bed. I was mashed up. Like, it was just a bit of a sticky situation. Oh, I forgot to say that the day that we got home from the hotel, my sister said that she didn't feel good. And then she had like this 24-hour bug thing, but it was like all the things that I was showing, she had that day. And she was just like, oh, it's like a 24-hour thing, it will go, like my mum was saying as well. Yeah, so on the Thursday now, it was like really bad. I was really cold and I was like under like covers and I had a dressing gown on like all day and it was just a bit of a sticky situation. And then I think I called 111 like that evening because I was like, I'm feeling really unwell and there's a whole coronavirus going around, so let me call them and see what I've got, innit? So I called them and they were like to me, do you have a fever? And I was like, I don't know. How do you check if you've got a fever? I don't have a thermometer or nothing and I'm ill. And then she was like, check your chest, does it feel warm? And I was like, no. Which I thought was a dumb question anyway, because if I'm warm, feeling my warm chest, is it gonna feel warm? Like, I'm cold. Do you know what I mean? So I thought that was a bit dumb. But I was just like, to her, no, it feels calm. And then she's like, okay, well, you would be able to feel if you were warm. So we don't think you've got corona, just stay at home and self-isolate. So I was like, okay. She's like, yeah. He's like, it's just general flu, you don't need our help, basically. Yeah, on the Friday, I was like, worse. I was worse, like, to the point where I was like to my mum, I'm sleeping in your bed because I don't know if I'm going to make it. Like, it was long. Like, I was cold, I was hot, I was dizzy. I was dizzy for like 5 days straight. Like, I couldn't walk, I couldn't shower, I couldn't do anything. It was like really, really serious. But I was like, I ain't calling no ambulance or nothing because that's dramatic. That's what I was thinking. So I'm literally just like sat there, ill, and now, like, when I mentioned the taste buds thing before, I couldn't taste nothing. Like, everything tastes like shit. So I wasn't eating and I couldn't hold food like that anyway. And then on the Friday, I started being sick, but I wasn't eating. So I was like, it was like all like stomach bile. Like, it was just weird shit just coming out. And then I started getting worried because there was blood in my sick. And I was like heaving, sat on the toilet, being sick. And then I was like to my mum, I'm being sick and I've got diarrhea. I don't know if that's TMI, but that was what was happening. So then my mum called 999. I can't remember I think I'd already spoken to them by this point. But we called 999 because the 111 people weren't backing it. They weren't trying to hear me, basically. So we called 999 and my mum was basically told them what happened. So the guy went through all of these questions, but I'd already had these same questions from when I called the people before. So I was just like, oh, this is long. The guy was like, you know, we will get a doctor to call you tomorrow. So I went to sleep. Didn't really sleep much, but I went to sleep. And then the doctor called me at like 7 in the morning. And she was like, we don't think you've got corona because you don't have a cough. And you don't have shortness of breath. And I was like, okay, well, I do have a cough, but it's just not that bad at this point. And then she was like, well, we don't think you need to go to the hospital, but if you want to go for peace of mind, you can go for peace of mind. But I was thinking, if the big up doctor from the hospital was telling me I don't need to go, why would I go? Do you know what I mean? And she was like, well, we don't think you need to go. It's really not that serious. We don't think you have corona. We just think you've got a really bad bug. And I was like, okay, cool. And she was like, okay, well, I'm going to get the anti-sickness prescription sent through to your nearest chemist. So I was like, all right, cool. And she was like, well, it shuts at 12, so make sure you get there. So my mum went to get the anti-sickness medication, and the chemist didn't have it. And then the woman was like, mum was like, well, can I have the prescription taken somewhere else? She goes, no. You have to call the doctor back and get another one. Which was so dumb, because the woman was from 999. And no one knew. You can't just call them back. Do you know what I mean? Oh, she told me to drink Lucozade for energy. She's like, the reason you're not getting any better is because you're not eating anything and you're not drinking anything. So I was like, okay, cool. So my mum bought loads of different things, and I thought, what can I actually try and eat? So I thought, let me just have the yogurt. I know it's dairy, but it's easy to eat. So I'm eating this yogurt, and I was like, oh my god, I can taste it. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm eating the yogurt, and I've had a bit of Lucozade. And then I've gone weird. Like 10 minutes later, I'm like passing out on the table. And then I was like, Mum, I don't feel good, like something's going weird, and I'm like all over the place. And my mum said that I went grey, and she's like, black people don't go grey. She's like, her and my sister was literally looking at me like I was a mad woman. I was like, I don't feel good, something's not right, like I need help. I sat back in the chair, I was in the kitchen, on the kitchen table, I sat back in the chair and literally threw up everywhere. It was disgusting, all over my socks, all over my t-shirt. It was nasty. And I was thinking, what the back foot is going on here? Do you know what I mean? Like, this is all so dramatic. Like, it was mad. And then my sister, she disappeared, and she came down with a bag full of stuff and bare clothes, and was like, you're going A&E. I don't care what the doctor says about, you're fine. And she just vexed in it. And I was like, and then I got dressed, and then I went to A&E. My mum had to do all the talking when we got in there, because I literally couldn't speak or stand without any help. And then we was in the waiting area for about, I want to say 10 minutes. And usually in A&E you're in there for hours, and it was literally 10 minutes. And then they sent me through to the first woman, the nurse. And she was so cold. Like, she could see I had a rough time. And she was offering no sympathy at all. She was like, yeah, can I have your arm, please? Let's check your blood pressure. Let's take some bloods. Yeah, I need to take your temperature. Open your mouth. I was just thinking, I'm very not well. Like, you're lucky. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise I'd have something to say to you, but I can't actually speak. Silly bitch. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I was like in there. She checked my temperature. Next thing you know, her machine's flashing up red, going mad. And I was like, alright, this is a bit mad. Like, I don't know what it was that was flagging up. And then they were like, okay, well, let's see if we can get you a bed. I was thinking, usually I go back to the waiting area, and then they call me in, and then I see a doctor. But she was like, no, we need to get you straight to a bed. So we've gone through, and I'm gone to the back of A&E, and I'm sat on this bed, and I've literally just fell asleep, and I'm like sleeping, and then they put like a cannula in my arm, and they're like, we need to do some x-rays, and they took like 5 vials of blood. It was all mad. And I was like, what's going on? Because the person on the phone said that I don't even need help, and that was less than 12 hours ago. And I was just like letting my mum answer all the questions, because I was literally out of it. And then they gave me IV antibiotics, IV fluids, and then IV paracetamol and IV anti-sickness. So a lot of shit was going in there. And then I started to like wake up a bit, and they'd been asking me like, have you been away? And I was like, no, I've only been to London, I haven't been out of the country. Like, the guy on the phone said I don't have corona, it's fine. I'm lying on this bed. They took me around for x-ray for like 2 seconds and brought me back. And then my mum was like to the guy, what's the x-ray for? Like, why are you taking an x-ray? And they were like, oh, we just want to make sure there's no infections on the inside of our body. And we could tell through the x-ray, like, if your organs have moved and stuff. So then 2 Tuesdays now. The nurse that's been dealing with me the whole time comes back in a mask all across her hair, apron, gloves. Yeah, so she's come back in, like literally on a completely different flex. Still calling me darling and that. Ain't the same bitch that was at the front, it's a different one. She was like, yeah, the doctor's gonna come talk to you. And I was like, okay. She's like, well, we need to do some more tests. And I was like, what's going on? They were like, oh, we got the x-ray results. So the doctor's come back now, and he stood like 5 feet away from me, and he was like, the x-ray showing that she's got pneumonia. And he's like, so she needs to go home. I was thinking, first of all, someone can't come and tell you got big up pneumonia and tell you got to go yard. Like, for me, that was just a bit mad, do you know what I mean? He's like, yeah, basically, she had all the other symptoms of corona, but she wasn't showing anything wrong with her breathing or stuff like that. She's had a cough, but now that she's got pneumonia, she's got every single symptom of corona. I was like, okay, this is mad. And he was like, but we can't keep her here, so we need to test her for the COVID-19, and then we'll see what we can do. So the woman's come in, and she's got this swab thing. She's like, right, I need to swab you in your nose and in your mouth. I said, what do you mean to swab in my nose? So she's got this big long up thing, yeah, and she shoved it up my nose, and she's like, gone like round and round in both nostrils with this big long thing. I was like, this day could not get any worse. And then she's put a different one in my mouth, and then she's like, right, here's your antibiotics, you need to get out of here. Like, just like that. This is mad. I've been ill for from Wednesday to Saturday, and I have a man telling me there's nothing wrong with me, and I've gone to A&E and they told me I've got pneumonia, but I have to go deal with it at home because I don't want no one to get no corona. So I was like, this is a very sticky situation, but I'm gonna do what they say, and I've got my antibiotics for 5 days. I'll be fine. I wasn't fine. I went home. I done what they said. I went home, took my antibiotics, and developed a cough. Now, I'm now coughing, and every time I cough, my whole body is in agony. Like, my head, everything's hurting. Like, it was horrible, and the cough is like really chesty. Like, nothing's happening. You're just coughing for no reason. Do you know what I mean? Like, I looked a hot mess this whole time as well. So yeah, like, I went home, and then literally my days consisted of me sleeping, drinking water, and having my antibiotics. But I didn't have sickness anymore, but I had diarrhea. I don't know what, or from, because I wasn't eating anything. And then I think it was like, something on the Saturday, it was like around Tuesday, I started eating again. Like, I had like little bits of jacket potato. Everything tastes the same, and I was only eating because I had to. Like I wasn't hungry or anything. I just wanted to sleep. So I was just in a really bad way. And then it was coming up to the last days of the antibiotics, and I was getting worse. Like, my temperature was going mad or whatever. So on the Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday, my mum called the ambulance and brought them out. So they came out and they checked me over, and they were like, your temperature is 39.7. Apparently that's like really high. It's meant to be 36 or something. I don't know. But she was like, your temperature is really high. So you can't sleep with your quilt no more, and you need to take paracetamol like clockwork, basically, to keep your temperature down. They were like, but we don't think you need to go in. But they were really nice, and they done all these tests, and they were like, everything else is fine. Your oxygen levels are fine. You're cool. So I was like, alright, cool, that's fine. And then I think it was maybe the next day, like, I couldn't eat nothing. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, my breathing started to, I was like that's how I started breathing. And that was like my staple breathing mechanism for like the foreseeable. So then I firmed that for like a day, and then it got to the Wednesday, and then my stepdad was sitting with me. He made me some toast, but when I bit into it, it tastes like chalk. So I was like, I'm eating that. And then he made me this big cinnamon drink. I was like, cool, it's a drink, I'll drink it. And then I was literally lying down like on my sofa because I was like, I'm so bored of lying down like flat, so let me just sit on the sofa and try a different position. I don't know. And then I'm there and I'm literally like wheezing, but my oxygen levels are fine. I just can't get the air in. Do you know what I mean? I don't really. It was just bad. So my mum came home. She's like feeling me. She's like, you feel really, really warm. And then she's like, yeah, I'm calling the ambulance again. So they called the ambulance again. And then this time my temperature was like 40.2. And then the guy was like, I'm in an RN about if I should go in or not. He was like, everything else seems alright, you just seem like a little bit hot. And the woman was like going back and forth with my sister about what to do for the best. And then the woman was like, if you do come hospital, your mum can't come. So I was like, okay, well, I don't need to go then, because I'm not well enough to ask any questions, and I don't want to be by myself. I'm ill. I don't want to be by myself. Do you know what I mean? The guy who was the lead paramedic was like, do you know what? We're going to take you in, because I'm literally like spaced out. Like, I'm not coherent with the world. Do you know what I'm saying? And then he was like, okay, cool, your mum could come, but no one else could come. So then I went into the hospital in the ambulance, which I think is the most dramatic thing that's ever happened to me. And I'm rattling around in the back of this thing, and it's cold in the back of there, you know. They strapped me to the bed, put the covers on me, and then completely strapped me, and the guy's doing all these tests and stuff in the back. It's like a mini hospital. It's massive as well, the vehicle. I live far from the hospital, bro. Like, I live like 40 minutes away, and it felt longer because I was cold and I weren't well. So it was just a very long process. So I'm in the back of the thing, and my mum's there, and like, she's been really strong, and I'm an emotional wreck because I'm just like, this is long. I've been ill for ages now. Like, bearing in mind, I started getting ill on the Wednesday before, so this was now day 7. And I was like to a woman, it's my last day of antibiotics today. And she's like, how many you got left? I was like, 2. She's like, well, if the last 5 days haven't worked, I don't think those 2 are going to make a difference. And I was thinking, alright, hold your sass in it, because I'm just trying to listen to what doctors be telling me. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they're the ones with the degrees and shit. I don't know. I'll get to the hospital now, and they took me into this back place that I've never seen before, and I'm the only person back there. My mum and some doctors, and everyone's in normal nurses' clothing and shit. And I've gone to the woman, I need to go toilet, but I can't walk. So they got me a wheelchair. And then when I've come out now, they were like, you can't go back to the bed you were just on, you need to go in this side room. And took me into the side room, and then this guy's come in with this big mask on his face, goggles thing, and then mask, gloves, big plastic bag looking thing. And then he was like, hi, I'm Dr. whatever. And then my mum was like, have you got the results back? Because I've been calling every day for a week. He's like, yeah, we have, and she's tested positive for coronavirus, for the COVID-19. Just like that. And I was like, coronavirus! At this point, my cough is like really, really bad. And this guy's saying, we're going to have to keep you in because we're worried about your breathing. You don't need oxygen, but we need to monitor your breathing, and your heart rate's really fast, and your blood pressure's really low. And the doctor came in to do an x-ray, another one, and he's like, the pneumonia's still very much there. So we're going to maybe look at some other antibiotics, or it might just have to go away on its own. Which I was thinking, I don't know what kind of lung infection goes away on its own. Do you know what I mean? I was just there thinking, if anyone was going to get this shit, it was going to be me. Do you know what I mean? He was like, yeah, like, you need to stay here. He's like, but your mum can't stay. You're not allowed any visitors. I was just like, oh my god, this is so long. Like, because I'm a proper, like, baby when it comes to being ill. And I was there crying, and I was just like, this is wild. Like, why have I got corona? That's long. So I was just thinking to myself, this is long, because now I can't go home. This bed is hard. It's cold. This is long. So yeah, like, the guy's like, you need to go, basically, to my mum. He's like, you need to go, she's got corona, you need to self-isolate. So I was in this room, and he was like, yeah, you have to stay in here until we find you a bed, whatever. I'm in the side room, and they've left me in there. Coronavirus! I think I'm gonna leave this one here, because it's already like 45 minutes. If you guys want to hear about more about my experience with coronavirus, like the rest of the story, like how I recovered and stuff like that, then stay tuned for part 2. Coronavirus ain't no joke. My body obviously couldn't hack it, like, as well as other people's, but when man are telling you, man, stay in the house, just stay in the house, innit? Because you could get pneumonia, and like one of your lungs could be trying to give up on you, like it was for me. Do you know what I'm saying? And man could be trying to tell you to sleep off your coronavirus at home when you're very, very unwell. But yeah, that was part 1. Stay tuned for part 2. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you're new, and yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Coronavirus!
With a life like this and a price this big, I could never be a plus for fall. I can never, ever, ever, ever.